Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
Madman, comedian, gangster, killer, psychopath, clown, prince of the criminal underworld, king of Gotham. How many faces does the Joker have? What inspired the artists when creating his image? And how did a comic book villain become a cult film icon? Let's break it down. The Joker was created by Jerry Robinson, Bob Kane, and Bill Finger. Also gifted readers with Batman, Catwoman, and other popular DC characters. They grew tired of seeing the Dark Knight in Detective Comics fight only classic gangsters, so they made him face off against a murderous mad clown as his opponent. The Joker's appearance and smile were inspired by Gwynplaine, the character played by Conrad Veidt in the film The Man Who Laughs, as envisioned by artist Jerry Robinson. Robinson was also inspired by the Gothic illustrations of British artist Harry Clarke for Edgar Allan Poe's Mysterious Tales. The Joker made his debut in 1940 in the first issue of Batman Comics. Above all, the creators wanted to make the Joker visually intriguing, which is why, unlike other characters, he had no backstory. They simply hadn't gotten around to creating one. In a single issue, the green-haired trickster managed to commit several murders using his signature weapon, a laughing chemical compound. In the 1950s, Joker's past was first revealed. He was a destitute worker who began committing crimes under the alias Red Hood. During a raid on a factory, the criminal encountered Batman, who accidentally knocked him into a vat of acid. Red Hood survived and became the Joker. In 1954, an event occurred that forever changed the comic book industry. In the United States, the Comics Code came into effect. It was intended to protect children from the purported negative influence of comics. The document was advisory in nature, but nearly all publishers adhered to it. From the comics disappeared eroticism and violence. Challenging times began for the Joker. From a mad killer, he transformed into a trickster con artist, easily defeated and even mocked. In this harmless guise, the Joker made his first on-screen appearance. In the 1966 Batman television series and its eponymous film adaptation, the Joker was just one of many adversaries of the Dark Knight. However, with all his tricks, jokes, and pranks, he became the most popular villain.
Have a memorial cigar.
Why, thank you, Joker.
The brief shadow is lifted. I'm my own humorous self again.
Both in the series and the film, the Joker was portrayed by Cesar Romero.
I wish you'd win sometime.
Oh, you can't win. The villain can't win. We always win, you know, on Wednesday night. At the end of the show, Wednesday night, we're winning. And then comes Thursday night, we lose.
You've had it.
The incredible success of the series reignited interest in comics featuring the clown prince of crime. However, the creators made every effort to move away from the campiness and madness that prevailed in the series. The Joker began returning to his roots. The stories became darker and more violent. In 1975, the Joker finally received his own comic series. During this period, the Joker evolved into the character we recognize today, nihilist, without moral standards. Most of all on the development of the Joker as a character influenced by the comic's murderous joke, Alan Moore. It is definitely affirming the many-sided past of the villain and his mirror with Batman. The trickster became not only Gotham's most terrifying criminal, but also the primary threat to Bruce Wayne's loved ones. In 1989, the Joker returned to the screen. In Tim Burton's Batman, the role of Batman's arch-nemesis was played by Jack Nicholson. His Joker isn't just another outsider gangster. He's an eccentric, socially active psychopath with a passion for art.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our mind.
He postmodernly defaces paintings in Gotham's museum, leaving only Francis Bacon's figure with meat untouched. Walking with the scythe and dancing under a boombox. And trying to look normal by painting scars. Nicholson's Joker believes that life is a canvas on which he paints. He calls himself an avant-gardist and compares himself to Picasso.
You see, Miss Vale, Alicia's been made over in line with my new philosophy, so now, like me, she's a living work of art.
Additionally, in Burton's film, the Joker is the first to influence Batman's origin as a superhero. According to the plot, it was he who killed young Bruce Wayne's parents. The next iconic appearance of the villain on screen took place in 1992 in the animated series Batman, the Animated Series. The animated Joker became famous for his laugh. It was created by Mark Hamill. For many years became a voice villain in cartoons and games. Besides, the animated series introduced the Joker's girlfriend, Harley Quinn, for the first time. She wasn't in the comics. In the 90s and 2000s, the Joker appeared only in animated films, and even managed to become a vampire. In 2008, audiences saw a completely different Joker. In The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger portrayed a truly terrifying villain. The Joker was no longer a jester spraying chemicals from a boutonniere. His tricks became far more brutal, and his manipulation of others nearly merciless.
And why do you want to kill me?
I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No, you complete me.
According to director Christopher Nolan, he and Ledger were inspired by Alex from A Clockwork Orange, portrayed by Malcolm McDowell when creating the Joker's character, and by the paintings of expressionist Francis Bacon.
It was one of those moments where I was asked if I would be interested in playing the Joker, and I knew 5 seconds later exactly how to play it. And I sat down with Chris and shared my thoughts with him, and they were identical to his, and we just kind of went from there, yeah.
For this role, Heath Ledger received an Oscar posthumously, and his Joker became a cult. It seemed that no one could overshadow the Joker from The Dark Knight. For example, in the series Gotham, which explores Batman's youth, the creators only hinted at the Joker's backstory and character traits. They didn't call him the Joker to avoid overlapping with the official DC universe. In Suicide Squad, Jared Leto's Joker served as a tool to help tell Harley Quinn's story. In the Lego Batman movie, the Joker's humor and campy villainy were played up, reminiscent of the 1960s. But everything changed with the release of Todd Phillips' Joker, in which Joaquin Phoenix played the lead role. The film, which won the Grand Prix at the Venice Film Festival, is not directly connected to either the comics or the recent films in the DC cinematic universe. Moreover, it contains none of the elements we're used to seeing in superhero and supervillain movies. It's a story about a lonely, broken man, his mental struggles and unfulfilled dreams, about class inequality, and how easily a living person can be made into a symbol. Phillips tests the audience's limits, forcing them to empathize with a killer. He shows exactly what turned the Joker into who he is, both rational and ruthless. And unfortunately, there are circumstances behind it.
When I was a little boy and told people I was going to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
You can say that again, pal.
Since his first appearance on screen, the Joker has evolved from a humorous parody of a real villain to an iconic character embodying hundreds of stories and personas. But the more serious the trickster became, the more his creators faced criticism. Nolan was accused of drawing too direct a parallel between the character's mental disorder and his crimes. Phillips is criticized for excessive violence and the romanticization of a mass murderer's image. The cult status of the Joker is linked to his universality. He is seen as a classic anarchist and the perfect man over Nietzsche, and a proponent of social justice, criticizing the capitalist system, and an abuser, and simply a terrifying clown who remains a timeless figure. The Joker changes with the times. No version of his story is ever wrong, but there's no definitive version either. And it seems this is the secret to his popularity.